This is Feature Minor. So I came across an interesting book that is alleging to be the secret diary of Admiral Byrd, that he's saying in the book that he had to write this book in secret because he wasn't really supposed to reveal this information. It was top secret information that he was writing down and all of his observations from the North and South poles. And so he said he felt the need to write this information down even if it would never be released. So he just wanted to document what he was experiencing at the North and South poles. And so I'm going to summarize this book, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it because, I mean, there's no real way to verify if this is authentic or not, or if it's a work of fiction. So I would guess that a lot of people would probably think this is fictional just because of some of the things he's saying in the book. Some of the things are pretty far out there, I would suppose, for the average listener. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to leave that up for you to decide in the comment section. And so let me know what you think about it after I summarize this book. I'm also going to leave a link if you want to check out the audio version of this book. And so it starts off with basically his experience in Antarctica. So according to my research, he first explored the North Pole, and then he had explored Antarctica. But I'm going to start off with this Antarctica part where he's saying basically he was at one of the bases. So we know there's several bases in Antarctica. And he said he took off from there and traveled about 1,700 miles. And all he saw was endless ice. So Admiral Byrd was reporting that Antarctica is much larger than what is being reported. And as he kept traveling, eventually the ice stopped and he started seeing green grass again. And he said he started seeing forests and lakes and things like that. Eventually, he even claims that he was seeing huge unknown animals roaming about. And he was saying that the temperature was changing. So it went from being ice cold and nothing but frozen tundra to being 75 degrees or so. So like basically summer, and you know, a lot of vegetation and things like that. So yeah, that's his claims, is eventually Antarctica shifted to becoming something else. And so where was he? Did he cross the barrier of the ice wall? Did he go beyond Antarctica to where things became much different? That's exactly what it sounds like. So I could definitely believe this part of the story so far. I mean, it sounds like this could definitely be a possibility. And so then Admiral Byrd goes on to describe that he saw basically UFOs. So what he's describing as UFOs, I've researched into, and I came to the conclusion that there could be some type of flying vehicles that are far more advanced than what we have here in our known lands. And I suggested that outside of our known continents, there could be other continents scattered around our circle Earth. And maybe these people are far more advanced than we are, you know, and maybe that's what people are seeing as UFOs, could be actually coming from these areas beyond Antarctica. And we might even be trading with them, and some of the elite might be in communication with these individuals that might reside outside of our known continents, perhaps. So this definitely isn't too far out of reality for me so far to believe there could be something to this information. So I don't know, but then let me go into the North Pole stuff. So to me, this is where his journey started, because like I said, according to my research, he started off exploring the North Pole. So in the North Pole, Admiral Byrd goes on to, well, once again, the book is suggesting a hollow earth. And maybe that's what he thought he was experiencing, if this is an actual diary that he wrote down, if this is actually his words. I mean, maybe that's what he thought he was experiencing, because in his mind, he's thinking he's on a ball earth, and maybe what he was experiencing, that was the only way he could comprehend what he is experiencing, perhaps. But he goes on to say that as he approached the North Center, his compass started acting funny. And so I know there's a lot of mystery with what is really attracting the compass to the north. I mean, for the scientists to be saying that there's a molten magnetic core, that really doesn't make much sense, because a magnet loses its power of magnetism after it becomes hot. So after a certain temperature, there is no more magnetism to be had. So that really doesn't make sense for there to be a magnetic core, what is attracting the compasses. So I think there's something much more going on with the north. So that makes a lot of sense that his compass would start acting funny. And so Admiral Byrd goes on to describe that there was a lot of turbulence at this point. When his compass started acting funny, the plane started jumping up and down, and there was a whole lot of turbulence. And he describes going over a strange mountain. And so we've heard a lot of reports about there being possibly a magnetic mountain in the center of the earth. And there's different names for this mountain. Some people call it Mount Meru, I think. And, you know, it might be like Mount Olympus. The Bible I just talked about the other day, where the fallen one described there was a mountain on the north side of the earth. So yeah, this mountain could be Mount Zion or anything. I mean, there's all types of names you can call this mountain, but the one thing that we're hearing is that there's just a mysterious mountain in the north. And even a lot of maps used to show a mountain in the center of the earth, and people are calling it a magnetic mountain. So that's interesting that he would describe that. And then Admiral Byrd goes on to describe that it got green. There's all of a sudden a lot of vegetation and grass and forest and stuff again, just like his report on the lands beyond Antarctica. So this is now in the north. He's describing a similar thing, and he goes on to even say that there was mammoth-like animals roaming around, and it was warm weather all of a sudden. So is it possible that he ended up in a portal? I mean, I've done a lot of research on the north center of the earth, and I've concluded it's possible there could be some type of portal on the north, but other maps suggest there could be continents there that they removed off of more modern maps. So before, in the ancient maps, there used to be like 4 continents in the north center. So there could be a lot more land in that area. But it seems like there's definitely something going on there with the whole thing with the compass pointing to the north all the time. So Admiral Byrd goes on to describe that, yeah, it seems like he was under the vault of heaven, and that I believe he was describing that he was under the Polaris star, the North Polaris star. So he was directly under that, and this is where all this strange activity occurred. And Admiral Byrd suggests that he ran into inhabitants of that area that were tall, blonde people walking around. And you know, it sounds like almost the way he says tall. Does that mean they were like giants? You know, was he encountering giant humanoids roaming around? He already talked about the animals were strange, animals that we've never seen on our continent. So what type of inhabitants live here? I mean, he also described that time was moving slow there, so that suggests that he was there for a while, and by the time he got back to the regular continents that we know of, I guess what he's saying is not as much time passed as he would have thought. So that's very interesting. That goes on to almost my theory about it possibly being some type of portal. And also, if time moves slower there, that goes into my research about the north possibly being where the Garden of Eden was, where you would have a longer lifespan. Time would move much slower, and it's a beautiful place, and it's like summer all the time there. And that's basically what he's describing. I mean, how could a place like this be hidden right in the center of the earth, though, without there being some type of portal? I'm wondering. But anyways, Admiral Byrd goes on to describe these people as an advanced civilization. They had, once again, flying vehicles that I'm sure people would consider to be UFOs. But the one thing that caught me off guard was he's describing that these flying vehicles actually had German logos on them. And the people that he encountered there actually had a German language. So he's saying that they sounded like they were German, and how he said he encountered them was basically as he was flying through this area, they took control of his plane with some type of advanced technology, and they landed him safely, and they spoke with him. And that's when he was saying, yeah, they sounded German. And yeah, so what do you guys think about all this? This is very far out information. I mean, it's beyond what I would think the general public would be able to think would be an actual testimony from Admiral Byrd. That's where I think a lot of people would start to think, okay, well, this must be a work of fiction. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. I mean, the things he's describing, they like to say, oh, this is all about the hollow earth, but I can definitely see how this information could be observed without having to think of a hollow earth. Like I said, I mean, basically, if Admiral Byrd was thinking in his mind that the earth is a globe, of course, that would be kind of like the only way he could describe what he was seeing and witnessing on the north and the south. But, you know, with the flat earth, there's another way to explain all this information that would actually make much more sense. So like I said, I'm going to leave a link to this audio book in the comment section if you want to check it out for yourself and let me know what you think. I don't know. It's a pretty interesting read. That's why I looked into it, just because, I mean, I was pretty intrigued by the information. I just had to look into it and see what it said. Just even if there's nothing to it, it was still very interesting. The idea that Admiral Byrd could have actually wrote this, I mean, what an interesting book indeed. So yeah, check out the link in the comment section and description box and check it out for yourself and let me know what you think about it. I'm also going to leave links to my other channels, my social media links, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 to help keep this channel online. And if you would like a free giveaway, details are in the description box in the comment section. And thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.